Do you smell that? Oh, yeah. It's definitely in the air. That pungent aroma of Nintendo Direct disease is once again filling up everyone's nostrils and lungs with the smell of that dangling carrot at the end of the stick. A Nintendo Direct is coming soon because you can never just enjoy what is already there. You got to worry about what's happening next because that's just kind of human nature at this point, and I'm obviously guilty of it too. But we're talking Nintendo Direct rumors today because there's a very interesting situation happening right now, and I kind of want to look at all the facets of it because allegedly, supposedly, there is a Nintendo event, potentially a Direct, happening next week. And that seems a bit early for some people, especially considering that Nintendo usually takes a look at the September month and says, hey, we're going to put a Nintendo Direct there. So what is this presentation? Is it a Nintendo Direct? Is it a Switch 2 showcase? What's it actually going to be? Well, that's what we're going to try to figure out in this video. So where is all of this coming from? Where is all this information sort of, originating? Well, once again, good old PH Brazil over on Family Boards. And I've talked about PH Brazil before. They've been right about some things. They've been wrong about some things, such as an April Nintendo Direct allegedly happening this past year in 2024. But I digress. People seem to believe this individual, so I'll try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, of course, recently Nintendo did have a Nintendo Direct of sorts. The Nintendo Museum Direct. I really don't like this whole calling things that aren't actual like video game events directs, like the Museum Direct and of course the movie directs and stuff like that. I feel like there's another way you could sort of word this, because I feel like most people kind of, when they're looking at the word Nintendo Direct, they're thinking about an actual presentation showcasing video games and not these other entities that Nintendo is involved in. Now, PH Brazil had originally said that Nintendo was going to be doing some sort of thing. So when the Nintendo Museum Direct popped up, which I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch it. Like, I don't ever plan on going to Japan. I don't really have a reason to. So this is something that I'll never be able to experience. I'll watch somebody's walkthrough video on YouTube and be like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'll probably never see it. So for me, it was kind of a bit of a miss, but many people thought, well, this is the event that PH Brazil was alluding to. Whether they were right, whether they just guessed right, who's to say, but this is probably the event. However, it appears that that is not the case, because PH Brazil actually doubled down, saying that they were not talking about the Museum Direct. There is something happening in the month of August, and it's potentially coming next week. Now, upon first inspection, the fact that this is a alleged August event, many people think that this is going to be a Nintendo Direct, but I don't really see wording where PH Brazil ever actually said that. They just said an event, which I think kind of opens up the doors to a lot of possibilities. Like, yeah, it could be the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. I don't think they're doing that in August, though, so I'm not going to put too much stock or thought into that. But when you look at the landscape of different Nintendo games that are coming out, you have games like Echoes of Wisdom coming out. That's kind of a bit of a big game. Now, we have gotten various trailers for this game that showcase different features of it, but what if it's a treehouse presentation of them playing The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom? There are other games coming out in 2024 as well for Nintendo, such as Mario and Luigi Brothership. I forget the thing. I think it's Brotherhood, but that's a game that's coming out. You have a new Super Mario Party game. So there are games that they could do a treehouse style event to sort of showcase that could be in place of this. But let's say it is a traditional Nintendo Direct. Why would they be doing it at the tail end of August instead of the traditional September time? Well, once again, you could say that that's because they're going to be showcasing the Switch 2 at some point this year, so they kind of want to clear out the Direct sort of thing so that Switch owners are happy with what they have and what's coming out and what's going to be showcased. But then on the tail end of that, you do have the people that are ready to move on to the next generation, getting some information on that next generation platform. But there's actually an event that almost leads me to believe that there is going to be something happening next week. And when you kind of put these two things together, I think it kind of does. And, not to say that PH Brazil did have inside information, but an educated guess that's kind of safe when you actually look at like other things that are going on. I think it makes a bit of sense because next weekend, I think starting on August 30th, is Pax West. Now, Pax West is, of course, an expo where there's industry people there and stuff like that, demos of games and, all sorts of fun stuff that, you can go check out or whatever. And Nintendo actually has quite a large booth at PAX West. They've already said that. They've talked about the games that are going to be there to play. So maybe it does kind of make a bit of sense for Nintendo to do an update on these games that are going to be playable at PAX West. I know Echoes of Wisdom is going to be there. I know that the Super Mario Party game is going to be there as well. Like, there's going to be several different newer Nintendo titles that people have not gotten their hands on previously. And if you're playing these games and potentially discovering things that haven't really been talked about, they might want to sort of nip that in the bud before it gets there. Obviously, these are going to be very curated and controlled demos, pretty much deciding what you can and cannot see. But I do think when you look at the timeline from that perspective, from the perspective of PAX West happening, Nintendo showing up to PAX West in a rather large way with this big booth with interactive demos and stuff like that, maybe it would make sense for them to do a Nintendo Direct showcase to update people on their games that they already know about and maybe show off some new stuff. But it could be another myriad of things. It could be a Nintendo Mini Direct, where it just focuses on giving updates for previously announced games. Maybe there's one or two sort of new things there, but it's a shorter showcase. It could be a Partner Direct, where it's just third-party companies. Like, there are so many variations to Nintendo Directs, and really, by extension, when you start to factor in the Treehouse stuff, just how many different Nintendo events that they could put out there, that yeah, it probably does make sense for them to do something next week. Is it going to be as big as some people are thinking it's going to be? I guess time will tell with this. It's kind of a make or break situation for PH Brazil, because if there isn't an event next week, which I do think there could be potentially something, but if there isn't an event next week, is it even worth talking about what this individual brings to the table anymore? I have my skepticisms about people that go to message forums and decide to leak stuff for absolutely no reason when they could do it on their own terms. They could do it on their own Twitter account. And I get it. Some people are like, oh, well, they don't want the notoriety and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, you're getting the notoriety when YouTubers and websites are writing articles on what you're doing. So why not try to capitalize that to build your own brand? It doesn't even have to be from a monetary perspective. It could just be you get a lot of Twitter followers and people like to follow you and interact with you and stuff like that. It's very strange to me how that kind of works, considering that PH Brazil is a journalist too, so you would think that they would want to capitalize on this. But these are just kind of my musings over the situation. Like, is it going to be a full-on Nintendo Direct? I mean, it could be. I think a Treehouse presentation, some sort of thing just to showcase the games that we know about and give people a little bit of an inside look before PAX West happens, or to be able to see the things that people are going to see at PAX West. That makes a little bit more sense to me, because I don't even know if you necessarily need a full-on Nintendo Direct. I guess it kind of depends on the launch timing of the Nintendo Switch too. Like, yeah, if your successor system isn't coming out till holiday of 2025, then you're definitely going to have some stuff happening around this time frame in order to showcase the first half of 2025. And it does appear that the system won't be coming out in the first half of 2025, with many people saying after the month of April. So you kind of have April to December to play around with. So I guess it would kind of make sense, but is it a little bit too soon? Do you have that much stuff to showcase? All I know is sniff it up, boys and girls, because the Direct stench is in the air, and it won't go away until next Friday. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think is happening with this? Do you think there is an event happening next week? If so, if you do think it is an event, what type of event do you think it is? Is it going to be a full-on direct? Is it going to be a treehouse thing, a partner showcase, a direct mini, a specific Nintendo direct? I didn't even mention that. You could do a Zelda direct showcasing 15 minutes of Echoes of Wisdom or something like that to show off the new mechanics that they are clearly hiding, because we've been learning more stuff about it as we go along, and there's clearly more things to do in the game than what they've shown already. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. Be sure to like the video, share the video, subscribe if you are new, or dislike the video. I don't really care. It's your prerogative, pal. It's your prerogative. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.